Hey everybody, this is the Colin O'Reilly Show. This week, back by popular demand, is Mike Pinkerton,
Do not
stand-up
adjust
comic
your
extraordinaire.
sets.
What up?
What's up, guys? Do not adjust your sets. You are here with Colin O'Reilly. Beep bop boop. We are streaming live from a
Yeah, I'm big time.
Seattle.
Okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I'm big time now. I'm up to like 12 average listeners
Congrats,
per
man.
episode. So this is yeah, and I think only three of them are Bitcoin bots.
Oh, nice. Also,
Yeah.
you're like a Hydra. When one person unsubscribes, two more take their place.
That's awesome. We were talking before I forget about Space Ghost Coast to Coast.
Mm.
Which that's awesome because you're a young person that you know about it.
Mhm.
I saw a sad TikTok thing about some guy. He's like an old writer and he always bashes. He's like, this is why the entertainment industry is evil or whatever. And the guy who created Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and he's like remade comedy, blah blah blah. They just tweeted at like Cartoon Network, like, hey, it's like the 30th anniversary or whatever, this guy's super awesome. And then he tweeted back like, yeah, you guys laid me off like 5 years ago. I'm an Amazon delivery driver. They're like, oh shit. And then it was,
Wow.
yeah, funny and sad. And then Frylock, the voice of the cup, they were saying for a while was like homeless, living on the subway while they were recording the show. Just like a brutal industry.
Fuck. It's horrible.
Yeah. So on that sunny note, but it was the best show ever. Although now I'm sure he'll do good because it'll go viral. And there's a
I
GoFundMe.
hope so. I think that it becomes really tough because a lot of times the entertainment industry doesn't have sustainable positions and they don't create good pensions, they don't create
Yeah.
always,
Oh, it's yeah. Have you ever heard of
especially
the MPTF?
is it the Association of Motion Picture? No, never mind.
How, yeah, television fund, whatever. It was like an old folks retirement
Oh yeah.
series of like communities, and I think they're like going bankrupt or something. And just like have fun living on the sidewalk, kids.
There's also a lot of issues going on with just modern day, what's it called? Like the modern day retirement
Declining.
homes, a lot of them are especially nursing care and like a lot of the nursing care places just don't have the resources.
Oh yeah, no, I do, Uber Eats on my motorcycle, and whenever I have to deliver to one, I just hold my breath like I'm going underwater and run it as fast as I can because it'll smell like Listerine and I don't want to get COVID.
Absolutely. And I mean for me personally, I remember having my both my grandmothers were like, I mean, during the last few days, they had some serious health issues. They were in the hospital, but for the last years of their lives, they were at home, and it was
Mm.
so much better for them.
I'm 47 and a half years old, and I think technically to be the age thing minimum to live in one of those, I think it's 55. So I'm like 7.5 years away. I could just live in an old folks home. Be like, Mike, do you want to
Okay.
come over to my room? We could play some um,
In the old folks home?
pinochle. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that
I'll
could be
be
cool. You probably would be asked a lot of times to help with electronics, but you're like a chill guy. I could totally see you being a helpful guy.
I'm nice and I look scary, so I can run the place. It would be like a Shawshank Redemption. I'd be like, don't touch the TV.
Would you be like Morgan Freeman or
Yes, totally. It'd be wise and
or would you be the prison guard that steps on the rat?
oh, I actually haven't seen it in a million years, so I don't even remember.
That's
I remember the warden and he calls him
wait.
obtuse, and the warden gets so angry.
What we have here is a failure to communicate.
Yeah, that's a great movie too. And Civil War, Guns N' Roses, great song.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
We're definitely going to 14 listeners on this episode. This is already
Good.
highfalutin. Topic number one, AI. I'm obsessed with it. I don't know if you've seen I tweet a million things about it, how I've been playing around with these AI programs, the text to video, where you can type in a movie script, or you can even type in, hey computer, here's the tone, general idea, just a few letters or up to 5,000, and it'll spit out a whole like short film, a trailer. Uh, it's amazing. Pretty soon it's going to do in just a couple of years, be able to do TV shows, films. You'll be able to
Mhm.
write a screenplay and then just give it to it and have it. I, yeah, I'm blown away by it. Have you checked any of this stuff out? Are
Oh
you?
yeah, I have. I do think that there is a big risk of, I know a lot of people say the big risk of, what about jobs? And I think we're also at a point where, unfortunately, we're not providing enough resources that our country has to help people out in the first place.
Mhm.
So, but regarding AI, I think sometimes perhaps the name itself is a bit misleading.
Yeah, you think it's not actual artificial
Mhm.
intelligence?
Not quite.
It's more like mimicking, what do they call it? Language, LLMs?
Or
Language?
machine learning. Machine learning might be something a little different, but
I think machine learning is similar, but a little different. It's funny you say that because I just saved myself for a flyer. There's like a free class online I want to take. IBM large language model. Uh,
Mhm.
but IBM offers free little nerd classes through their website, and there's one now they're offering that's AI slash uh, ML machine learning. I was like, that's awesome.
Hmm.
I'm gonna take it. But you think it's just sort of mimicking intelligence? It's not real.
I think there's aspects of, it depends on the software, first of all. That's a huge one.
Yes.
And hmm, like
I
Madeline, for example.
do I know who?
Actually, did we talk about the last time we talked about AI and using computers? Did we talk at all about the centaur and reverse centaur concept?
No, what's that? Is that like top half horse, bottom half person?
Um, kind of. Hmm.
Tell me more.
Okay, so essentially, there's this concept by Cory Doctorow,
Oh yeah, he's awesome. Okay, yeah.
um, who's a great writer. He
Yeah, he
has,
writes for Boing Boing.
yep, that guy. He had this concept they called the centaur and reverse centaur. So a centaur is essentially a team where a human makes choices while being assisted by artificial intelligence.
Nice.
On the other hand, you have a reverse centaur. A reverse centaur is when humans are forced to make choices,
Yeah.
or humans are forced to carry out commands by machines that make choices. For example, when Google has software that calculates your speed, and then that can cause potentially accidents, right?
Yeah.
Versus at work, I have an online system that clocks where I am and checks my locations to report to my boss.
Oh wow.
Mhm. There's some aspects of Centaur in that, some aspects of reverse Centaur. A great example, though, of Centaur would be so some chess team ups have been done where it's a human chess player teaming up with a computer.
Okay, that's cool.
So the computer helps the human look at potential options, a few moves ahead, and helps them make decisions.
Oh, nice.
And they
Is
realize
it? Oh,
the
sorry.
best,
No, keep going. I cut you off. Keep talking.
but the best thing is that a Centaur chess team
Yeah.
can defeat the best grandmasters that are human and the best grandmasters that are AI in the world.
Ooh.
Mhm. So I know, like, essentially having, in order to be the best team, you have to have both of them. And that's kind of
Yeah.
what we should be thinking more of with AI.
Like augmenting, like Neuralink,
Hmm.
that Elon Musk thing.
Hmm.
That's cool.
Um,
That makes total sense because you have like the creativity of a human
mhm,
with all the, robot-y, whatever is, good stuff of a robot.
mhm.
Um, That's really cool. Like the Borg in Star Trek.
Yeah, but that's hmm,
Less stiff, a little more.
sorry, I'm having a snack. I should not be snacking right now.
Yeah, that's not, that's you're not that big of a star yet to be able to just eat food on a
On a
freaking,
podcast, I'm sorry.
yeah, you're not, I'm so old I can't even name any. I was gonna try to name a young
Brad Pitt.
Timothy Chalamet, Brad Pitt, yeah.
Brad
Brad
Pitt
Pitt.
just pulling food out of nowhere during
Tom
films.
Cruise.
Oh, speaking of, I have a little bit of Bonnie Doon Vineyard, pink wine of the
Yes.
earth. Oh,
Tell
that's
everyone about it, what it is, the story behind this wine that you are.
so we are actually opening up a special glass of wine tonight, or sorry, bottle of wine from Bonnie Doon Vineyard. It's called Pink Wine of the Earth, Vin Gris de Cigare, 2021.
And is this the wine you were telling me about earlier?
Hmm. So
Nice. What? Yeah.
pink wine made from red grapes, and they're very pale in color. And cigare is French slang for UFOs because they look kind of like cigars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they were thinking like kind of Zeppelin, like long, UFO shaped.
The cigar shape is the number one thing that people say
Hmm.
for
But anyways,
UFOs.
in 1954, there's a village in France,
Yeah.
in particular in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, where they adopted an ordinance which said that UFOs were not allowed to land in local vineyards.
Cool.
Now, it's great. The bottle says the regulations have worked exceptionally well in discouraging alien landings.
That's
We
really cool.
is say to be equally far-sighted in our winemaking and grape growing practices, seeking the restoration of vital life forces to our soils and championing the notion of the farm as an integral entity. Thus, our winemaking practice is exceptionally light-handed, with minimal manipulation and intervention. Enjoy our pink wine of the earth.
That's
Nice.
really cool.
Yeah, this is from Bonnie Doon Vineyard. This is from 2021. They're located in King City, California, USA, and it also says Earth on the bottle, which is good to know.
Cool. King City's a crazy place. That's a retirement community in
Oh,
Oregon where my
hmm.
parents where my parents lived. Yeah,
uh, California on USA on planet Earth.
that's awesome.
Were your parents on planet Earth?
No, this
Oh,
was in the moon.
mm.
I was born on the moon. There used to be a mall there. It was awesome. It was like a Best Buy. It was cool.
Was that why you motorcycle so much? Remind you of your moon buggy?
It does. It does. It does. I
Well,
motorcycle so much because gas is so expensive. Um,
no, I thought you'd
it's
do solar panels, because that's how they'd sun on the moon.
yeah, or you could use there's a in the soil there, it's something called helium-3, I guess, and that can be used. That'll be like in the future. They were
Wow.
saying it could be like a source of fuel. I don't know if it's like in the dust or some sort of compound in the lunar who's a what's a. It's pretty cool though. SpaceX, which is that terrible racist guy Elon Musk owns, but they make awesome rockets, unfortunately. But they're just
Sometimes.
terrible. But the new big rocket model Starship, it's the size of a 40-story building, 250 tons lift capacity, which is just massive. And then
Wow.
lands again and it's reusable. So you can just keep doing it. So 500 tons, 1,000, like, yeah, just you can now build large scale structures in space and on the moon. And next, I think the end of this year and then next year, they're going to start NASA is going to start building a permanent nuclear powered lunar base. And I
Oh
just
yeah.
think that's the coolest thing in the world. Like being able to see that in high definition will just be,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
So helpful. Also, where we spend a little too much money on weapons and a little not enough money on exploration, that could really help us out.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope the world will become like Star Trek and I can't wait until like um once we have to spend less money on that stuff and then yeah, I can do more just space exploration. NASA only gets 20 billion a year, which is less than 1/10 of 1% of the overall budget, which is like a trillion just about. Um, yeah, they hardly get anything. That's terrible. If I was president, I would quintuple gazillion times their budget. I would give them so much more. The
Yeah,
world
they
should be like Star
need
Trek.
be in better sources, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I had this it's open mics. I used to do this bit about I grew up on Star Trek. I love it. I was more of a next generation guy than versus the old school. But I think, that's we should make our world like on the Star Trek economy because you watch Star Trek, they have it figured out. It's all robots and higher education and lasers, and they just wear pajamas all day, None of them are working three jobs just to get by. It's uh it's like Disneyland. They don't even have pockets. They have no money. They just get to hang out.
I
Um,
mean, they have other things they do, but
yeah, but they're never stressed. You never see like Jordy be like, "Oh man, I want to buy the PlayStation 17, but I can't get this overtime on the
uh,
whatever."
yeah.
Just be like data, blah blah blah. This is awesome. This is the nerdiest podcast ever.
Have you been watching Strange New Worlds? It's probably the best Star Trek.
I have. I watched the first two seasons, um,
Oh, it is
and then
so.
I forgot. You're
I'm,
watching it? You like it?
it is great. I need to watch season three. That's been needing to
That's
happen.
awesome. Star Trek is, yeah, the best thing ever. That's like my dream, just to be able to have a freaking spaceship and zip around in space. That's what I hope with AI. I'm amazed by it that it can do literally just about anything. And it'll be able to pretty soon start designing stuff, be able to say, hey, design a cool spaceship, design a whatever. Yeah, like you were saying, I
I
hope
mean,
we
but
can get more like
I need
Starfleet
more
Academy.
uh, human intervention at times.
That's true. Like, or you were saying, merge them together, augment,
Yeah.
and do the do the Neuralink. I had another funny I don't shouldn't say funny. I had a stand-up bit about the Neuralink where in the scientific literature I had read about that it will be when you get it in there, it'll be able to, just noodle around with your brain. And one of the things you'll be able to do is orgasm on command. And
Oh,
you know what that means is I'd be buying it immediately and
yeah.
starting an OnlyFans site called I don't need anyone else anymore.com.
Is this the rants getting more and more like unhinged?
uh, uh, yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Um, that's true though. You'll be able to do that. You'll also with the Neuralink be able to telepathically communicate with other people who have it without having to speak. It'll just
Wow.
be like a silent radio.
Wow. I don't know. That sounds a little intense.
Yeah, it'll be weird. You can send emails silently. Um, but then also it's gonna be like, can people hack it? If something goes wrong with it, you get like Apple Care, it's like
Yeah.
it's gonna be a whole to do. UFOs, have you been following any of them in the news? Any of this
Uh,
political stuff?
so, I think when you have our professional here,
Yeah. I'm a nerd. I follow it constantly. Well, actually, there hasn't been much. Well, there's kind of a little update. I think it's the government supposedly, quote unquote, accidentally let these files out. I think it's a red herring, like they did it on purpose, but whatever. And it was called Kona Blue, and it was supposedly the title of this government program that dealt with, they call it in these files CR crash retrievals, where something would go down or that just a ship would land and they would try to go and snatch it. And a couple of months ago, the Daily Mail, which is a British newspaper, did they said like this is true, this is a leak. this is like a world exclusive, but they're like a British kind of tabloid, like, but everything but the BBC there seems to be. So I don't know. Some people are like, it's legit. Some people are like, take it with a grain of salt, but they said they uncovered a branch within the CIA that also dealt with crash retrieval. And so this code of blue documents, you can kind of go through them. They're online. There's like PowerPoint presentations and memos. And it seems like a little too like, how do you accidentally be like, oops, here's like all these files for this top secret program. But it's still cool to read. It's like it seems like they're trying to get something out, I think. And they just talk about, yeah, like retrieving craft and remote viewing. I don't know if you're familiar with that term or if you've heard that.
A little bit. That's when they believe there can be like an astral projection.
Exactly. Yeah, they can sort of like, yeah, move like with their mind, sort of like get relaxed and meditated and then get out of body experiences. And they
Hmm.
would do recon for intelligence agencies or whatnot. And some of the files are about that, and it's pretty cool. I was listening to some podcasts about it and stuff, and I mean, it seems like there's something definitely there. Like there was, it's supposed to be. It got watered down, but in the last, not this one that just passed Ukraine funding, but the one before that, in the Senate, it was this amendment called like the UAP PA or DA or something, and people were fighting over it and it got watered down. But originally, Chuck Schumer, he was the like sponsor of the bill, and it's sort of like it's like 65 pages, and it would just go through and say like the government's in possession of like UFOs, bodies. We think aerospace companies have it. We want to do like I think they call it like eminent domain, where they just go in and take it. And they're like, we want to have hearings. We want to set up a federal agency that goes through all the files and the hardware and starts to release it in conjunction with the National Archives to keep track of everything and for historical purposes and to educate and inform the public and about NHI, they call it non-human intelligence. And then a lot of Republicans are so lame. They're always against cool stuff. They were like,
Sometimes, yeah.
no, yeah, and they weren't like this isn't true. Some Republicans, it sucks because the Republicans who support it are all like the crazies, like Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene, just the worst people. You're like, no, don't be like, no one wants you here. They
Marjorie Taylor
were,
Greene, what a cool
yeah,
or a wacky.
a terrible person.
She doing
What
okay?
just a Russian spy. Um,
Is she
I
really?
don't, I don't think she's doing okay. I heard they said, it seemed kind of sad that I read some news article on her that in high school she didn't get along with people hard to believe, and so she wouldn't get invited to parties and then would call the police on those parties.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like, look at her now.
yeah. Did you hear
Terrible.
about the Zangief guy?
From Street Fighter?
Yes.
No, how's he doing? Or
And
is he not?
Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, oh, are they dating?
So Marjorie Taylor Greene was having an affair with a man, you know.
Yeah.
This man,
As those Christians do.
so she happened to be estranged from her husband, you know. I think she might be divorced now.
Yeah.
But she was having an affair of some type. You know, it's kind of publicly known. It was known at the gym to some extent.
Okay.
It was a man who was, you know, a he was into tantric sex, some kind of weird yoga stuff, and also another thing. He was a Zangief cosplayer,
It's terrible.
and he was a really good Zangief cosplayer. Like this dude looks just like he even shaved his like chest hair to look like Zangief. Great, amazing stuff. And he's also like apparently into this like tantric sex yoga thing or something like that. That's what I guess you know he basically ruined. I guess Marjorie Taylor Greene ruined her own marriage, you know, but he was there, you know, just being a catalyst in it. And then he's like, "No, I don't want to talk about it." He's been interviewed. Neither of them want to talk about it, which I get, you know.
Yeah, uh, yeah, she's the devil. She's gross and she's the devil.
I don't
Um,
I don't
and
think
that's
she's the
hysterical about, she
devil,
would make
but
a terrible Chun-Li.
I don't think she'd make a good devil either because she's not that bright.
No, she'd make a good Ken. She looks like Ken.
Jeez. You might have a point there.
That's awesome. Score one for Colin. I did it. I broadcasted.
Hey, we
Tired.
should start a feud. Have you considered starting a feud with Marjorie Taylor Greene for the podcast?
And she has to be a Russian spy. Supposedly, she's a congressional rep for Georgia in her district. And this is true. No one knows where her office is. She doesn't
Oh,
make it public. So you can't protest it. You can't, nobody can go there. Not even really phone numbers. Um, and just weird talking points. Like during this last Ukraine, brouhaha, whatever. She was like really nitty gritty on the Russian talking points. She was like, this part, like we shouldn't fund it because this has been promised, the slice of land to Hungary and stuff. And Putin and Russia have tried to make, like these weird deals with like, Orban and Hungary, the EU be like, try to keep him on their side by saying like, hey, we'll give you land if we win here. Where it's like, why is she bringing this up in the US, Congress, whatever? Um, I don't know.
very
I
true.
think she must be a double agent. Sorry, I'm monopolizing the talk.
I don't know. I really I think that there's there's always a huge risk of any politician nowadays being, involved in something, and that's really tough.
I think she's the pipe bomber. Have you seen that conspiracy?
What?
The pipe bomber, the DC pipe bomber.
No.
They found like some pipe bombs, I guess, during the January 6th stuff that were undetonated or kind of detonated, but didn't. I guess if they had done any super damage and death, we would have heard more about it. But I think they diffused them or something, but they couldn't figure out who's done it. And they're still looking for the person. And there's just like one or two grainy shots. You can't even tell if it's a girl or a guy. But online, people are like, it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I just think it's super funny. There's like a whole conspiracy about it. It's really convincing. And so
Huh.
it's kind of sort of like Ted Cruz is the Zodiac killer. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
It's sort of like that.
You
There's
think
another
it?
one.
I
Yeah.
don't think he can be.
Yeah, that one's more of a stretch. I think she's definitely the pipe bomber. I don't think he's real. That one's more of like a meme, just funny, but
Yeah, I mean,
uh
well, so Ted Cruz would have to be about 5 years old at the time of the Zodiac.
he time traveled. Cancun cruise. I hate that guy too. Yeah, a cool guy
Yeah,
is running against him and his first name is Colin Allred.
nice.
Yeah, I hope he wins. I hope he wins. No one's ever, sorry, that was my email. No one's ever voted for Ted Cruz. I think that's why they kept being like election interference, because I think they're the ones who do it. Like Mitch McConnell, no one's ever voted for that guy. I bet he's got like one vote in his whole life.
I don't know. I mean, I don't get how honest. I really don't understand how he's getting votes.
I think they just cheat. There's no federal election agency. That's crazy to me. It's just all left up to the states like a hodgepodge. So there's no real like overarching federal authority that like oversees everything. And so
Yeah,
like yeah, in the South, like who's like paying attention.
could be true.
Um, yeah. Uh TikTok ban. What do you think is up with
Oh,
that? You think good idea, bad idea?
I think there's first off there are certain issues with TikTok inherently.
Yeah.
Just straight up, we know there are.
Like data mining and
Yeah. Oh yeah, there are absolutely issues.
yeah. The dancing.
I don't necessarily know if the dancing is always an issue. I think we do have to absolutely keep in mind though that sometimes minors can be sexualized on any platform where they're getting a voice as well.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy. I think that we have to also, but the thing is, we can either put ourselves in a situation where we don't give people a voice, and they're still going to be exploited. They're still going to be, you know, they're still going to
Yeah,
face harassment. They're still going to face assault. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like if we were to ban TikTok today, it would not necessarily prevent sexual assaults from happening.
yeah,
It might, I don't know. I think though that we need to really look at serious cultural problems too.
yeah,
But we're always going to, it's the media, it's the media, it's the media, unless it's like mainstream media.
yeah.
And also, it doesn't make sense to keep calling Fox News not mainstream media when, let me be honest, so Gutfeld has more viewers per night than Jimmy Kimmel Live. That's a pretty crazy metric, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like Jimmy Kimmel Live has a lot of people, but it's still not as much as Gutfeld. That's like kind of crazy to think about.
Old people love Fox News. And I guess now just Middle America, just even just
Mhm. And I've even seen, so you know, Newsmax. Newsmax has this news. Their strategy for getting advertisers is called Boomer Power Plus.
yeah.
And what it literally is they're trying to advertise to boomers and people who think like boomers but aren't necessarily part of the boomer generation. So like the millennials who are boomer mindset, that's their goal, that demographic.
Wow.
Like they even said it, like it's not necessarily even like a hidden document that got leaked. Like, oh no, like it's online.
That's terrible. They're terrible. I don't,
I
yeah,
don't think so. I mean, potentially, yeah, but I think that also that is honest about who they're going for.
yeah, no, I mean, it's just fear and just making money off whatever. And just, I don't know.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
what
they
I'm,
are.
oh, sorry.
They're doing that as well.
Yeah. That's what I'm excited about AI. I'm like, I can't wait till AI is just because it seems like it's robots will be more impartial. And then it'll just be like AI news. Like that'll, I think will be, you'll see soon, like AI news broadcasts, you know. Did I hit mute in time? Did you hear that burp? Sure did.
Uh-huh. I
Nice.
didn't hear that.
Like a
Yeah.
DJ up here.
Nice.
Um,
What?
um, yeah. The only thing that bothers me about the ban, I agree with all the kid stuff you say, but I think like then they should go after like Facebook and Instagram. And just I think
Oh yeah. Mhm.
it seems like book banning. It seems like a slippery slope. Like you're gonna ban a
Yeah.
website because it's sold through the Apple and Google App Store. So those are like walled gardens, you know, they're like data
Uh-huh.
scraping. But so do Facebook and Instagram, you know, and
Yeah.
I think and
Well, have you heard of InQtel?
what is it?
There's a company called InQtel. Have you heard about them?
No.
So InQtel, what they do is they're the ones who gave a lot of funding to what's it called? They're ones who gave a lot of funding to Facebook to start off.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of that funding came from the government. Like it just
The
happened to be a lot of CIA
oh,
alumni.
oh yeah, oh yeah, totally. That's cool. Wow. Yeah, I totally believe that.
And they came to the point of realizing that instead of, you know, spending people to track someone down, just why not just find them, get them to post things instead, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
No, seriously, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, like sort of a way to track people,
Yeah.
keep track of the populace. Um, yeah, I mean that's what I think it's a slippery slope. So I'm like, if they're gonna do that one, then they'll end up doing another one, you know, they'll end up, and I think it'll just keep like Twitter is terrible. I can't imagine that anyone uses as soon as the Ukraine thing was like word, I was like, I'm never gonna, you know, never gonna use this thing again. Um, and they let, you know, it seemed like they let a foreign national like Musk has American citizenship and he was born here and he's seems pretty pro. Russia, pro-China. And then he
Mm.
took a giant loan from China and bought Twitter. The government was just like, that's cool. Because Republicans wanted it, they wanted it as sort of a bully pulpit to get their campaign things out. And when you go on there, it's just constant. Like it's just it'll be like Marsha Blackburn, just like illegals are terrible, blah blah
Uh,
blah. Everyone's a Satanist. You're just like, what the hell? And I used to think people like Marco Rubio were kind of like normal, kind of like moderates, or like the adults, and they're the same thing now. They're just like rah, 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 Biden crime family.
mm,
January 6th forever. You're just like, what the hell is wrong with these people? Um,
uh,
Twitter just, I don't know. I think like that's what they're gonna do to TikTok. Like it's just they're gonna take it over and then it's just gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be all these old Republicans just being like, here's my TikTok dance. Because I like TikTok now. There's no one fighting, there's no politics. It's like, and I hate the Chinese government, I'm
yeah,
sure they would not want me to come to their country. I would be screaming revolution the whole time.
a lot of issues there that they need to solve, and as do we.
Yeah, but and I'll get off my rant here in a second, but something else they have that I think is really cool is great UFO videos.
And as much as you want, for the fact that it might end soon.
Say that again?
It might end soon, but besides that, you can rant as much as you want.
Yeah, well,
It's
I'm sure it's gonna end now, yeah, but um, they have
sure,
the
sure.
best UFO videos. We can see why they're getting rid of it. But yeah, I hope they don't Twitterize it. Twitter's so bad. It's so awful. It's
It
like it,
way
oh sorry, keep going. I went off on a rant
I
there.
can be that way. It's we need to find healthier social media, and I recently set a reminder just to not go on for Twitter, Instagram for more than 20 minutes at a time.
Oh, that's cool. That's smart.
Yeah.
What year were you? This is a great question. I don't know if I should ask you this. There's only 12 listeners. Your identity won't get stolen. You can even
Yeah.
shave them by a couple years, but what year were you born in?
Oh, 1993.
Oh, okay. I was thinking you were like 2000 or something for some reason. I was born in 76. So you've pretty much, since you always remember, have been around the internet.
Yeah, just about. But my parents are fairly older, so it kind of, you know, unfortunately, yeah.
They weren't shoving MySpace down your throat while
You
when
know,
you were a teen.
I was allowed to have a MySpace, and then I got one anyways. But my parents were just they didn't know enough about it to protect me from it.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was like I was born in like in the late 70s. So I was in like college when the internet was really like starting to come out. And I remember like Friendster came out and I was just like, this is incredible. This will be here forever. And it was
Yeah.
gone. And then it was MySpace. And then I thought MySpace was cool. I wasn't as into it. It seemed a little more kiddie. And then I was kind of older because it was like you would tack stuff onto your page, It'd be like
Yeah.
badgers. Um, yeah, but it seems like for the mental health, they always say it's bad for kids, mental health, but I don't know. I feel like that was kind of like with rock and roll. There was like rock and roll, rap music, the
Oh
devil,
yeah.
we gotta ban it.
Yep. And everything. I mean, even Aristotle said he hated the next generation.
Exactly, yeah.
Plato was mad
Plato,
at the next gen too. There was a lot of
yeah.
that.
I think that's just a human trait is like you're born into a sort of a world with like a set of technology and a way that you're kind of used to things, and then things start to change, and then you get old and you're like, this is terrible, change is bad. And then you're a conservative, and then yeah, I sound like such dude. Mike, thank you so much, man. It was great talking to you today. This was super, super great. Is there anything out there you want to say to the public, say to the Matrix?
Yeah, check me out on so I'll be on Culture Slate. Check me out.
Nice. I don't even know what that is. What is that? Is that a
Cultureslate.com, or you can find
okay?
us on Instagram. We're on plenty other sites as well.
Nice.
Instagram, Pink Mikerton, great place to hit me up. Also tomorrow I'll be at this will be by the time this is out, this probably won't be ready for a while anyways, but check me out at local wrestling events or tell me where you want me to come and talk shit on your favorite comedian. Just give me a call.
That's awesome. Mike, thank you so much, man. This was a
On
blast.
here.
Have the best night ever.
You take it easy, my dude.
Right on, man. Thank you, man.
Will do. Thanks again, Colin. Have a good
Okay.
night.
You too.
See you, bro.
Bye.